Hey, it's Minimalist Gourmet, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these fantastic peanut butter kiss cookies, aka peanut butter blossom cookies. You wouldn't believe how delicious and simple these are to make, and how quickly you can make up a batch. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. We need to cream our butter, sugar, and peanut butter together, and creaming is just a process of whipping it up really well until it's nice and light and fluffy. Make sure your butter is at room temperature before starting. We're going to use two sugars in this recipe for the best balance of texture and flavor. The brown sugar has molasses and it's going to give us a denser, chewier cookie, but the white sugar will give us a nice, light, crispy texture. That way we get the best of both worlds. For the peanut butter, I actually recommend that you use a processed peanut butter here. A natural peanut butter does taste great, but it creates a cookie that can tend to be a little bit more crumbly and spread out a lot more. And if you happen to be allergic to peanuts, you can actually substitute in some cashew, almond, or other type of nut butter. Now I need to cream this together. I'll be using my electric beaters, but you can use a stand mixer or a whisk. Creaming not only mixes everything together, but incorporates a fair amount of air, making this nice, light, and fluffy. And don't forget to scrape down the sides of your bowl about halfway through mixing. Next, we add our egg and mix this in. This creates a bit of an emulsion between the water in the egg and the fat in the butter, and it's going to trap that air, making a nice, light, fluffy cookie. For our dry team, we're going to start off with some all-purpose flour. And just like before, we're going to use a combination of leavening. We're going to do some baking soda as well as baking powder for the best combination of textures. Now we're going to mix this very well. If you're new to my channel, first of all, welcome. But also, I always include a written recipe with all the quantities, which is down in the description below. So definitely go down and check that out. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It is a super simple way to help support the channel and allows me to continue sharing my love of cooking with all of you. It's time to rock and roll. Some cookies, that is. I've got a bit of white sugar in a bowl here, which we're going to roll our cookie dough in, as well as my baking sheet lined with some parchment paper. So normally you would use a disher to portion out your cookie dough. I don't have one of those, and you probably don't either. I do, however, have a 1/8 cup measuring cup, which works perfectly fine to give the same size dough ball each time. It's super important that all the cookies are the same size. That way they all finish at the same time, and you don't have some that are overdone and some that are underdone. Roll your dough into a ball. I guess mine are a little bit more like an asteroid, but that's totally fine. We're going to go ahead and toss these in the white sugar to coat the outside completely. The white sugar on the exterior is going to help crisp up the outside beautifully, and it's going to be a great contrast for that nice, chewy, soft interior. Space your cookies well enough that they can double in size, and we're going to put these in a 375-degree oven and allow them to cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. And while your cookies are baking, you should unwrap your kisses. You don't want to wait until after you've pulled them out of the oven because your cookies are going to cool down. Now I'm only doing 6, so that's not a big deal, but if you're cooking like 12, 18, 24 of these, that can become a problem. Here in Thailand, my house is almost always like 98 degrees, so chocolate lives in the fridge, otherwise it melts. I recommend that you store your kisses in the fridge or even the freezer before you make these. That way they're nice and cold and they don't melt when you put them into your cookies. My cookies baked for a little over 8 minutes, and boy, do they look fantastic and smell even better. I'm going to go to the fridge and retrieve my cold Hershey's Kisses and start pushing them right down in the center about halfway down. Don't wait to put your kisses into the cookies. You want to do this straight out of the oven. You know, the peanut butter I bought for this recipe is completely crazy. Yep, it's totally nuts. Could be crazy from all the stress. I hear he's spread pretty thin these days. These guys are looking great and smelling even better. We don't want them to overbake on the pan though, so we're going to go ahead and pull those off and put them onto a cooling rack. I don't actually have a cooling rack, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull the oven rack out of my little toaster oven and use that. It works out in a pinch pretty darn well, actually. Transfer your cookies to your cooling rack and allow them to sit at room temperature for about 10 or 15 minutes to fully set. Let's be real here. Nobody's going to wait that long to eat one of these, neither am I. Yoink! It's my favorite part of the video. I finally get to eat what we've made. And I gotta say, guys, my kitchen smells phenomenal. You have that rich peanut butter smell, that sweet chocolate smell. They're combining together to make that absolute classic combination. I know these things are gonna be absolutely delicious, and I can't wait to dive in. So, mmm, mmm. They're so soft. They have that sweet kind of sugary crunch on the outside. Mmm. And that fantastic rich peanut butter flavor. Mmm. Man, the texture on this is absolutely phenomenal. They hold up very well. They're not crumbly, but once you start to chew them, they have the texture of like a snickerdoodle. Just fantastic, kind of this crumb that just wants to fall apart and melt in your mouth. And oh my God, I gotta take another bite here. And with that chocolate, oh my God. Like I said, if you know of a better combination besides chocolate and peanut butter, let me know in the comments down below. But I don't know, this is hard to beat. Guys, I know you're going to love this recipe, so definitely give it a try. And I can't wait to see y'all here next week on the next episode of Minimalist Gourmet. Mm. Mm. Oh, yeah. These won't last long in my house. Oh, yeah.